Hello guys, Atronach here, and today I'd like to show you guys my thoughts on the new card that was released for this month's monthly card in Elder Scrolls Legends. First off, let's go see the card. Here it is. The new card is Pure Blood Elder. It is a vampire card, it is in the Endurance class, and it is a 7 Magicka 8/8. So the stats are exactly like a Swamp Leviathan. But what's interesting is the effect. When you gain max magicka, double the amount you gain. So this first part I'd first like to go over. The text is exactly like the one in Thorn Histmage. So you also have to take into account that this affects you gaining magicka at the start of your turn. So essentially, if this stays alive, at the start of your turn you will gain 2 magicka, not just with additional ramp effects. And the second effect of the card, while you have 18 or more max magicka, Pure Blood Elder has +8/+8 and Breakthrough. Now this is enormous. So essentially, if you have 18 or more magicka, you will get a 7 magicka 16/16 with Breakthrough. This is enough to skip 3 runes, and in a control versus control matchups, being able to skip 3 runes for a lethal is incredible. But now we have to think about the real world applications. Before we do that, I'd also like to go over what I've been seeing on Reddit. A lot of people have many different opinions. Some people say this is going to be amazing in Scout, that it's going to be an auto-include in Scout. Why would you release a card that's good for Scout when everybody hates Scout at the moment, and Scout is already a powerful enough deck? And there are other people that have more of a similar opinion as I do. So what I think is this deck, I'll start with the conclusion, this card will not be run in Scout. So these are a few of my reasons. First of all, Scout, it already beats control matchups. So does it really need an alternate win condition is my first question. And secondly, Scout doesn't actually want 18 or more magicka. So like if Scout ran this card, yeah, they'd want 18 or more magicka to activate this card's effect. But other than this card, there aren't many situations where Scout wants that much magicka. So I'll give you an example. Ramp in Scout is used to get quickly to the higher magicka efficient cards. Like they want to quickly reach the levels where they can start playing their skeletal dragons, their Parthenox, where they can Odoving for a board clear, Red Brahmin, all that stuff. Like even Soul Terror with the recent nerf to its magicka cost, ramping is more efficient for Scout to be able to get those plays that they want to do. Plus, they have Histgrove, so of course they want to hit that 15 magicka trigger. However, it's not like a combo deck where you really want like 18 or more magicka so that you can play a big thing or play multiple cards on one turn. Scout has good draw for a control deck, but it'll run out of cards if you notice, unless like the Parthenox Infinite Cycle is going on. And like most Scouts don't run Alduin, so they don't need like a high mana cap for that. And it's not like a warrior that would want to utilize a rage on like a Blood Magic Lord or a rage on a Night Talon Lord, stuff like this. These actually do require all 16 or maybe even more magicka. So those are the things that make it not amazing for Scout. Now, another point that I want to make is its other matchups. It has an aggro and a mid-range matchup that we'll talk about versus aggro. A 7 magicka 8/8 that doesn't have guard or drain is basically a Swamp Leviathan. See, Thorn Histmage is another ramp card, but it's used because the stats are ridiculously efficient. It has guard, it protects you against all matchups, and the raising its attack and getting ramp is good against control, and the fact that it has guard and ramps is good against aggro. This does not do any of that. And the same argument also goes for mid-range. Most of the time when you're against mid-range, you want to be on a defensive position. This doesn't accomplish anything on turn 7 in a defensive way. Like, the opponent, you could have played a Nahagleave on turn 7, but like sometimes even that, it loses its guard from Shield Breaker or it gets Belligerent Giant. But this is just a 7 Magicka 8/8 that's an already silenced Nahagleave. There's no point in you to be playing it. So those are my opinions. That to all the people that say this is going to be an auto-include in Scout or amazing in Scout or like why did they buff Scout, those are my arguments against them. So yeah, I don't think it'll be used in Scout. So the next observation I want to make is what new decks might come out of this. I think what this actually does is it creates an opportunity for more diverse ramp decks. Right now, the only really prevalent ramp deck is Ramp Scout. I mean, I've created Ramp Spellsword, and I've had success with it on ladder, but it never really picked on, which I don't understand, but we'll get to that later. And or more like in another video. So, what this card does, though, is it allows other decks like that don't have Thorn Histmage, an amazing ramp card, to have better access to ramp. Like, it's a purple card. Scout could use it, but for all the other reasons I said, Scout probably won't use it. This will be used in other decks that actually want another win condition, or need another win condition. So the first deck that comes to everybody's minds is Ramp Warrior, and it was the first one that came to my mind too. So, as I said in the examples of Scout not being a combo deck, I also mentioned Warrior being a combo deck. This can be a more consistent win condition for Warrior. It helps Warrior ramp. Warrior wants to get to 18, like 16 or more anyway, because they want to do the Rage combos, and this becomes the top Rage target for Warrior versus any other control matchups. If you get a Rage on any creature on the opponent's board while it's a 16/16, and then it hits face, it's basically lethal. And if you're also running like Night Mother, or like you set it up so that it's on a board that already has creatures in, because you know even control decks need to have creatures on the board at some point, then yeah, this is like basically an insta-win for Warrior if it can get to that point. But the weakness of traditional Ramp Warrior was that it was inconsistent, and it didn't have too many survival tools. Like the only heal method that it really had was Night Mother. Like some ran Night Talon Lord, but that was at already too high of a cost. And Night Shadow and Rage was also already like a 13 Magicka combo, so it had trouble staying alive until it got to its crazy combo plays. But what I think this might affect that deck is that what this might do is it might compact the win condition enough. Like before, Warrior needed Hist Groves, and it also needed like or wanted to run Night Talon Lords maybe, or like at least Blood Magic Lords or other high value cards to help you win that control matchup. In case like the Rage burst damage to face failed, or like, you know, things happen. You can't only have one plan of winning. But what this does is this might allow those decks to compact that win condition. This may be consistent enough, maybe. Like, I am not sure here. This is just theory. But this might be what Ramp Warrior needed. To be able to, this might allow Warrior to cut other cards so that it can put more survivability cards, put better early game cards, other options to try to help its bad matchups. And maybe not immediately after its release, but maybe even a few cards down the line, where if other cards are introduced, this might be what makes Ramp Warrior work in the end. So for like other decks, we also have like Sorcerer and Spellsword. They both use Endurance. So those are possibilities, but no matter how much I thought about it, I don't think there is a class that will utilize this to the extent that Warrior does, because Warrior is just such a great class to have breakthrough creatures with. So those are my thoughts on the card. And let's see how things turn out. I will release a new video after a bit and to see how it actually settled in the meta, and I hope to see you guys there. Thank you for watching. and see you guys next time.